Today, I am going to do a truly minimal makeup look that's perfect for the beginner or someone who's not used to wearing makeup. Maybe you haven't worn makeup much in the past and you want to start, but you put it on and it just looks so unnatural. If you're not used to seeing makeup on your face, it can take a little bit of time to get used to. So the look I'm going to do today was inspired by my good friend Cindy over at Beyond 50 Skin. I will have her channel linked in the description box down below if you want to go check her out. She is so knowledgeable on skincare. Well, she had a story on her Instagram this past week where she got a new palette, and I think it might have been the Natasha Denona Glam palette, but I'm not completely sure about that. Cindy, you can let me know down in the box if I got that wrong. But when she showed it, she said something to the effect of, wow, look at all that sparkle, and that she was a little bit intimidated. So as I go along, I'm going to use the Alter Ego Shadow Kiss, which is a dupe for the Natasha Denona Glam palette, and I'm going to use shadows that will give you a minimal look with just a little bit of sparkle. But first, I want to do the complexion, and I'm going to use the Michelle Sun Shield Liquid SPF 50. This is a tinted sunscreen. It works great on my oily skin. If you have dry skin, this might actually be too drying for you. So I do really like this SPF, and if you're looking for one, I will have it linked down below. But I'm not necessarily recommending this SPF. I just wanted to use a tinted one, and this is the one I have that's tinted right now. And so I don't end up with sunscreen in my hair. Let's get rid of these bangs. I don't know what's going on, if I have breakage or new growth, but I have all these teeny tiny little hairs up here, and they're kind of always in the way. Anyway, this needs to be shaken. It has a dropper that is just kind of a mess. It's getting really low. I don't know if I can get any up in the dropper. Okay, so I'm just going to wipe it on my hands like that because it's kind of, I didn't realize it was almost gone. And then I'm just going to spread that around with my fingers. I usually put my sunscreen on over in my bathroom so that I can wash my hands as soon as I'm done, but I'm using a makeup wipe today. And I also like to wipe off my lips. I know your lips probably need sunscreen, but I can't stand the feel or the taste of it, and so I wipe it off. And this just does a really nice job of giving you an evened out skin tone. Also, of course, has that SPF 50 in it, and it doesn't feel heavy on your skin. So if you aren't used to wearing foundation, a tinted SPF might be just what you need to give a little bit of coverage without feeling makeup-y. I also like the Australian Gold tinted sunscreen. I have not actually used that since they reformulated it, but I do believe now they have different shade options. But a lot of times I don't use a tinted SPF because I almost always wear foundation. This one is a 100% mineral formula. If you're sensitive to chemical sunscreen, this one is a good option, and it's also reef safe. I almost always put something on my lips when I'm getting ready so that they'll be nice and hydrated by the time I get to the lip step. And today I have the Essence Juicy Balm Shiny Lip Gloss. I just keep something by my makeup mirror, and when this one's gone, then I'll use something else that I have. I have no shortage of lip balms. I am going to use a concealer. You wouldn't have to if you don't want to. I did actually bring that SPF under my eyes, and so you could just leave that at that. But I'm going to go in with the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Eraser in the Brightener shade. This is kind of a pink shade, and it just does what it says. It kind of brightens the under eye. And then I'm just going to use my finger and kind of work it in under and around, really kind of focusing in that corner where I have the most darkness. And then when I kind of get it spread out, I'm just going to just tap, tap, tap while I'm looking up. And this will help to really kind of meld it with my skin so it's not just sitting on top. And then I'm just going to grab a dry concealer sponge just to blend those edges a little bit more so that there's not a stark difference between the tint of the sunscreen and the lighter color of the concealer. Because this is a minimal makeup look, I'm not using any bronzer, I'm not using any highlighter. I'm just going to go in with a little bit of blush. This is the e.l.f. Primer Infused Shimmer Blush in Always Preppy, and it's just a really pretty pink. I'm going to go in, tap off a little bit so we don't get too much. And I'm just going to put this right along the high points of the cheek and blend it back and up a little bit. This just gives a nice flush to the skin and makes you look healthy. I didn't wet my sponge because I wasn't using foundation today, so I just have a dry beauty sponge here, and I just want to blend the edges of that a little bit so that I don't have too much. If you aren't used to wearing makeup, go in with a light hand. You can always add more. It's easier to add than it is to take away. For me, because my hair is so blonde and I don't have a lot of eyebrow hairs, I do need to go in and shape my brows and put a little color there. So I'm going to use this Catrice Slimatic Ultra Precise Brow Pencil in medium. This one is a little dark for me, so I have to be really careful not to press too hard. But I really like the formula of it, and it's super inexpensive. I did a full face of Catrice. If you're interested in seeing that, I'll put it in the cards. And when you're done here, you can go watch it. So I just fill in a little. I've kind of gotten away from being super precise about my brows, mainly because I'm lazy. But I just want them to look kind of natural and not overdone or underdone. And then I just go in with the spoolie and brush it, which kind of blends it and takes away a little of the excess, which is good because that one I got a little dark. Most of the time I also use a tinted brow gel, but this is minimal, so we're just going to leave it at that. You can also use an eyeshadow that's the color that you would like your brows to be and an angled liner brush like this, and just dip into the eyeshadow and then come up and use that to make little strokes to do your brows. All right, so let's go into Shadow Kiss and work on the eyes. I'm going to first use this cool brown here. In this palette, it's called Risk. I don't know what it would be called in the Natasha Denona palette, but it's just a light, cool brown. And I'm just going to kind of go in and put that in my crease and right under the brow bone, just to kind of start. And then actually I'm going to put it all over the lid, just to give a base for the rest of the shadows. I'm going to go ahead and show you both eyes because I am labeling this as good for beginners. So I want you to see actually how quickly this comes together. I'm going to try to also not edit this section of the video very heavily, unless I really just make a mumble of my words, and then I'll try to fix that anyway. By the way, to do that, I used a fluffy brush. This one is from BH Cosmetics. It's the classic blending brush, but you're just looking for something that's kind of fluffy and a little bit domed. Okay, if you have smaller eyes, then you're going to want to use a smaller brush. Now I'm using a brush that's a little denser. It's a little more firmly packed, still kind of domed, but also a little bit flat. And so I'm going to use this one to get into the crease. I am going to use Desire in this palette. This one has several browns, and I don't know if you can see, but this one has a little bit more warmth to it. There's a little bit more orange undertone there, and that would be a warm brown. This was very cool toned. It's kind of gray taupe. So I am going to go into this Desire, which is more leaning neutral cool. I put it right on the end of my brush, and then I'm going to take that and just stamp it along the crease, and then I can blend. But the way I stamp first, because then it helps deposit the color more evenly and doesn't just all end up in a blob in one place. And this is just giving a little bit of definition to the eye and kind of helping to make a new crease for me, because my eyes are very hooded when I open them. You can't really see much of my crease. And so I do this to give the illusion that I have more lid space than I actually do. And you can see it then when I open my eyes. If I actually put it right here where my crease is, when I opened my eyes, you wouldn't see it. So, dab, dab to deposit the color, and then blend. And then with what's left on my brush, I want to just kind of connect that semicircle there with the eye here. And I want to make sure that I'm going up this way at an angle so that it doesn't pull my eye down. I don't really want to get any shadow in this area here. I already have darkness there, and so that would make my eyes look more droopy. If you want to, you don't have to. You can also pull that color a little bit under your eye. Next, I'm going to put the shimmer on, and I'm going to do this with a brush, and I'm doing it with a fluffy brush. It's kind of similar to the one that I used for the crease, but I don't know if you can see, it's a little bit narrow that way, it's fatter that way and narrow that way. And I'm going to go into cloak. I'm going to use this brush and just get some on the bristles like that. The reason I'm using a brush and not my finger is because your finger is going to give you more oomph. And if you want this to be just kind of a subtle shimmer, use a brush. So I put that on there, and I'm just going to tap off a little to make sure that I don't get fall off. Fall off? Fall out. And then just put that on the lid. Okay? And you can build it up slowly to get just the amount of shimmer you want, and it's just going to add some brightness to the eye. So when you move your head, blink, that kind of stuff, it just kind of like, oh, there's something there. But it's not intense. Can you see it? Okay, and that's all I'm going to do with the eyes, because if you are not used to wearing makeup and you go in real heavy with your eyes, it's just going to feel unnatural to you. I think once you get used to this level of shimmer, you're probably going to want more. Then you can go in with your finger and just tap it on. But I want to leave it at this so you can see how this look comes together. Now, for me, I like to tight line. If you're not used to makeup, this can be kind of tricky. I do have a tight lining tutorial video, and I will put it there if you want to go look and see some tips and tricks for how to get better at doing this. But for me, I just use the pencil and I try to look past it when I'm looking in my mirror. And then I use the pencil to lift my eyelid just a little bit. And I do that mainly because I wear contacts and I don't want to draw on my contacts. And then once I've got the outside done, I come in and I lift and do the inside. And then connect the two. The reason I do this, I feel like it gives my lashes a head start in looking fuller. Then I'm going to use the e.l.f. Lash Extender Mascara. This is a tubing mascara. What that means is it comes off easily with warm water. The formula wraps around the lashes and creates little tubes, and when you moisten them with warm water, they loosen and they just come off. And it looks like you're losing your lashes. I promise you're not. I'm going to go put 2 coats on both eyes and I'll be right back. Lashes are done. I've taken off the lip balm that I put on earlier, and now I'm going to use the Revee Beauty Effortless Lips in Lily. This is really nice because you can build up the coverage that you want. It's very hydrating on your lips. Doesn't have the longest staying power. You will have to reapply it, but you can reapply it without even looking because it's not going to go everywhere. I'm not using a lip liner. You absolutely can. In fact, you can change the look of this very easily just by using a different color lip liner. You can go darker. You can bring in a different undertone. But for today, because this is supposed to be a very minimal makeup, not using a lip liner. I haven't used this actually in a while, and I forgot how much I really like it. For me, it is mattifying, which is why I said earlier that it's great for my oily skin. But if you're one of my dry skin friends, I'm afraid this might be too drying for you, especially to use every day. You might get by with it once in a while. But I love it because I don't have to powder it. It just sets down and then it just stays there, and it looks really good all day long. I know sometimes when you look up a no makeup look on YouTube, you start watching and there's so many products and so many steps, and you think, that's not no makeup. So what I tried to do here was to give you a minimal routine using only 8 products that you can do quickly and that doesn't feel heavy on your skin. I don't feel like I have anything on my face right now, and that will help you to keep feeling like yourself with just a little bit of extra. And Cindy, let me know if this helps motivate you to use that palette and dip into those sparkles just a little. My husband's outside in the tractor, so if you hear a rumbling out in the background, that's what that is. Oh, speaking of sound, I got a new microphone. I have had more microphone troubles. I think I bought 3, and none of them worked very well. There was either a background hiss, or I had one that would randomly cut out and leave staticky bits. I did some testing on this one. I think it sounds pretty good. Let me know what you think. I am not tech savvy at all, so it really does have to be plug and play, and that's what this one is. If anybody needs a new microphone and you like the way this one sounds, I'll link it down below. It was not expensive at all because not only am I not tech savvy, I also don't have a huge budget for tech. So I'm not exactly sure when this video is going to go up, but I wanted to thank you all. I put out a call on my community tab recently for a little bit of help in getting the watch hour requirements for monetization. It's 4,000 watch hours in the last 365 days. And I just wanted to let you know that it's working. I am seeing those numbers go up. And so if you have a little bit of time and you want to watch something else, I'll put a couple videos here for you. And if not, that's fine. I will just see you in the next one. I hope you all have a beautiful, blessed day. Bye-bye.